Hey everybody, Kyle here. Thank you for being here. Thank you for joining me today. Don't have coffee. Well, actually, I do have coffee. I have a frozen beverage over here, but it's not the morning time. I decided I wanted to shoot my talk with Kyle, coffee talk, whatever you want to call it. I had this big plan. I was gonna go find this perfect location with a beautiful backdrop. I even had me a little whiteboard that I found me a really great quote on, and I was gonna, I love making cinematic. I love playing with camera angles. I love, the cinematic side of video creation. It's something I do enjoy, but I just never could really get it figured out. Never really could dial in what I was looking for. So yeah, I'm just gonna shoot from the hip because I think that's the way this video is supposed to be. I don't know that necessarily making it super cinematic is the right move for this video. I will read the quote that I was gonna put on there to kind of lead in or segue into the video that we're gonna do. Abundance is a process of letting go. That which is empty can receive. So I've had this something on my mind recently that just keeps showing up. It keeps showing up, and it probably always has. It's always this. It's basically letting go of things that you can't control. Things from your past, good or bad. I'm kind of coming from the good side. Things that I've had that I once had that I no longer have. I'm in a different place in my life. I'm in a different spot. I'm in a different spot than I thought I would be, which I think could be said for most people. Did your life really, are you where you thought you would be in your life? Is this the place you thought you would be? Did your decisions that you've made along the way lead you to where you are? Those are all valid, I think are very valid, real questions to ask yourself and ponder. And I've really been struggling. I don't know if struggle is the right word. It's just been on my mind a lot. I sort of get caught up in this idea of things that I once had that I no longer have. And I'm like, man, if I would have just done this could have happened, or if I would have just did it this way, this would have been the result, or vice versa, and everything in between. I think it's a slippery slope when you go down or that rabbit hole, and it can go in a lot of different directions. I guess, the right way would be, okay, yes, all of those things were true or possible or could have been true, but yeah, this is where we are. We can learn from what we did, the mistakes we made, and try to do better next time. I think that's the ultimate goal we all are after. Or you can let it go in the not enoughness. Oh man, I screwed that up. Yeah, if I wouldn't have screwed that up, I could have X, Y, Z, or whatever the case may be. For me, it's financial. I struggle. I had abundance at one point in my life of monetary, liquid money. And I don't really have it anymore. And for various reasons, and everybody can draw their own conclusions, and I'm sure the trolls will chime in with their reasonings. And the point is the money's gone. It's gone for one reason or another. It's really not the point of the video that I'm trying to make, but it's gone. It's not coming back. It's not. And I guess the simplest form is just doing me no good to think about it. Yes, if I would have made better choices, if I would have known what I know now, clearly I could have made better choices to give me a better or a different result. Better, that's up for you to decide, each individual person. But I just catch myself thinking like, man, gosh, if I would have had like another shot at that, or I wish I would have done this, or I wish I wouldn't have done this. And it's just such wasted energy. Like, yeah, great. The cliche hindsight's 2020. Yeah, it really is. Yeah, if I would have known what I know now, if I would have had the wisdom and all of that, yeah, I probably would have made better decisions. I probably would have been smarter with my money. I probably wouldn't have done this. I probably would have done that. Yada, yada. It's and it can turn into and spiral into this, long barrage of just garbage that just swirls around in your mind, and it's completely a waste of time, or in my opinion is a complete waste of time. Yes, like we said, learn from it. It's okay to visit it. Yeah, you know what, if I get this chance again, or if you get that chance, maybe, what, I'm going to do this. I'm going to learn from that experience and do better this time. Because it's really all we can do. Sitting there saying, man, if I would have done this, or if I would have done that, it's getting you nowhere. It's not going to help. And ultimately, it's just going to drag you down. It's going to bring your morale down. It's going to make you feel just icky, and it sucks. I think we all carry moments in our life that we wish we would have done differently. And for me, one I've been dealing with obviously is money. But it's a lot of things. I always go back to the movie Napoleon Dynamite, Uncle Rico, how he was so stuck in the 80s when he thought he was going to be this big football star, and if he would have just done this different, and his coach would have put him in, and all of these things, his life would have turned out completely different. I don't know if we go down that rabbit hole to fantasize. I don't know if we go down that rabbit hole to beat ourselves up. I'm not really sure what it is, but it's just that's a reference that always comes to mind when I think about, especially myself, getting caught up in that if I would have, or if I could have, or if I would have listened, or if I wouldn't have listened, maybe I would have ended up here. And I think what happens is our brain replays this over and over again as if somehow us replaying the situation in our head is going to magically transform us back to that time and fix our mistake or our mishap or our misjudgment. And it's just not. It's just not going to work that. It doesn't work that way. I mean, it'd be beautiful if it did. As far as I know, to my knowledge, a time machine does not exist yet that will allow us to make that change. Replaying the past doesn't rewrite it. It just keeps us stuck in that moment. And I think we've got to break free from that. I think we have to see it again for what it is. Maybe learn from that experience, but we've got to come out of the muck and we got to rise above it, and it's got to go. It's not serving you anymore. It's not going to fix anything. It's not going to rewrite the script for you. You're not going to go back 30 years and invest all your money in Amazon and Apple and be a billionaire today. It's not the reality we live in. So we got to stop fighting that. We have to stop that just garbage just swirling around in our mind, because it's really all it is. It's mental poison that's just going to drag you down, make you depressed, make you anxious, and ultimately it's not going to serve you one bit. I think reflection is a great thing. I do it a lot. I spend a lot of time reflecting on my life, the choices that I make. But I believe if you over reflect, or if that's all you do, it eventually leads to harm. You're doing yourself self-harm. Again, the mental poison comes in, and it really just claws at you, especially with someone with depression like myself, which I know a lot of folks out there suffer from it too. We reflect to see where we want to improve in our lives, where, what is going well, what is not going well, and that is good. That's good stuff. I think that's important. I think for personal growth, spiritual growth, financial growth, reflecting on where you are in life, and maybe even going back where you came from, there's a lot of value there. There's a lot you can learn from that. There's a lot of experience gained when you do some reflecting, and it's a very valuable tool. But I believe over reflecting can be a lot of mental poison. It can really poison and get into and put you into this negative headspace. So I think it's important to be able to learn, when to turn it off. I was like, yeah, I got it. We got it. We're at this point. We've reflected. We see the problem. We see where we went wrong, and let's move on. We have to go on. We have to leave this where it belongs, in the past, and we have to move forward in the future. I think this really gets at me because I'm a person who's quit a lot of things in my life. I've told some of these stories, challenge things that got hard, and I'm checked out. I'm like, yep, I'm good. No more. I've done my thing. It's time to move on to the next great thing. So I catch myself reflecting on that a lot and holding on to some of that stuff. It's like, if I would have stuck with this, would my life be better? Would I be where I had set out to be versus where I am? That I get caught up in that stuff a lot, and it's just why am I doing that? What is that going to change? What is it? It's like this thing. What am I missing right now by focusing on the past, on something I have absolutely no control over and can absolutely not go back and change or fix? What am I missing out on now in this present moment Am I missing out on joy? Am I missing out on other opportunities? You know, I'm someone, I feel like I overanalyze a lot. I feel like I overthink certain things and probably underthink certain things as well. And I just get caught in this headspace of, especially when you know you're in the struggle. I think that's when it wants to seep in the most, is when you're depressed, you know, your things just aren't going well. You know, all of these not, you know, the not enoughness starts coming in, and it could be a danger. It could be a slippery slope. You know, you've got to watch what you're reflecting on. You can really, or I personally can get really caught up in the whole, if I would have just done this, or if I'd done this different, like, why did I make that mistake? I think I read something one time, is no one will ever abuse you more than you abuse yourself. You know, you will cause yourself more self-abuse than any other human can possibly inflict on you. And at least for me, that's true. I beat myself up a lot, and I always have. I've always been hard on myself, you know, and I think that's a big part of being having depression, clinical depression, is that's just typically what we do. And it's just, I don't know, it's just maybe my personality type, but we are our own biggest critic, and we cause ourselves, our own selves, the most, abuse and torture. It was something we as humans are really good at it, as torturing ourselves and putting ourselves through so much mental anguish over things we have no control over. I think to start closing this one out, you know, the past is a place to reflect. It's a place to realize your mistakes, to realize what you want to do differently, to grow from. It's not a place you want to reside, though. It's not a place you want to live. Like Uncle Rico from his college or from his high school football days. You don't want to live there, because you take that on as part of your identity, I think, and I think it's a miserable place to just be. I don't see how you can grow if you're just stuck in the past. You can't change what happened, or you can't change what you did, but you can learn from it, you can grow from it, and you can do better next time. And I think that's all any of us can do. I think sitting there beating ourselves up, yeah, I should have done this, or I shouldn't have spent it on this, or I should have invested in this, whatever the case may be, it's just worthless. I ultimately think, you know, healing starts when you stop trying to fix the past and accept the past, and start and choose to do better. You know, choose to do better next time, choose to do better today, and move on. You know, and that's something I'm trying to catch myself before it gets to that level of just where it turns just a worthless poison, you know, just worthless thoughts, you know, and that for someone like me can lead to dark, not so great places. So I'm really having to watch that. It's something I'm having to monitor for myself, especially in depression. You know, depression just seems to dig up the crap, the garbage, the sludge at the bottom of a pond that just sits there and just gets sludgier every day, is what depression has this tendency to do for me. And I have to watch it, especially when I'm in it. Reflection can go from a good intention to a bad idea really quick, and it's a fine line for me, and I have to watch it. You know, and it's right now it's financial. You know, I'm at the point in my life I'm trying to figure out where to go, what I want to do with my life. You know, I'm 40 years old now, and I still I'm trying to figure that out. I have a pretty good idea of things I want to do. I love doing what I'm doing now, but I haven't, you know, I'm still trying to figure that out, you know. So for me, it's a fine line I have to walk. I have to monitor it, and sometimes it gets too far, and I end up having a crap day, and I ended up kind of wasting a good mood. I mean, and that sucks, you know, when you're in a good spot and you just a reflection turns into just a bad mood, and kind of ultimately just ruining a portion of your day and potentially your entire day. So it's something I got to watch. It's something I got to monitor. And yeah, I'd love to know some thoughts from you guys. Do you have those similar type issues where you kind of just seem to hold on to certain things from your past? But yeah, I would love to hear your thoughts on that. And if you do this similar thing, what do you do? Like, what is your process? Do you reflect? Do you not reflect? Is that something you find to be useful tool for yourself? I'd be curious to know. Something I'm kind of going through. It's something I'm kind of dealing with, and yeah, some insight and some data from other people. It's always useful. I think we're all different, but we can all learn from each other. Something that works for you may work for me, and vice versa. So it's good to share knowledge. It's good to share experiences. So yeah, I'd love to hear it, guys. But yeah, I appreciate you joining me on another one of these videos. Just kind of mixing up my vlogs a little bit. Don't really have a set rinse and repeat vlog. I don't have this style yet that it's just like, yep, this is what I want to do, film every time I pick up the camera for the rest of my days. And I don't know that I'll ever get that. I don't know that I even want that. So I'm just trying some different things out, and some days just pointing the camera at my face and pressing record and talking and reflecting, as we've talked about in this vlog, about what's going on in my mental life or my physical life, whichever one the case may be. It's something I like to do. I think this is my journal. I mentioned that in a vlog before. I don't really keep a journal, but this is my journal. I'm recording this at 5 o'clock in the afternoon. I'm going to get up tomorrow morning before the sun comes out, throw it on the computer and edit it, and I get to relive my feelings from today, how I sounded, how I looked, how my facial expressions were. Did I get my point across, and that's great, because that allows me to reflect for the next time I try to do this. So for me, this is my journal. This is my blog, vlog, whatever it is you want to call it. And yeah, I'm just playing with these videos, and I hope you enjoy them. If you get any value out of them, please let me know. It'd keep me encouraged to keep doing them. If not, you can let me know that also. Please try to be kind, but yeah, definitely criticism, constructive criticism is something I don't want to shy away from, and I know I've got a lot of great folks out there with a lot of great insight, and I do appreciate reading those comments from all of you. But yeah, guys, that's what I got. We will see you tomorrow. Don't really know yet what we're doing. I'm kind of all over the place this week, trying to figure out what I want to film, what I want to do. The idea of having a rinse and repeat vlog just sounds great. Like, I'm gonna go do this every single day and I'm gonna film it. Like, that would be the idea. That sounds great for anxiety purposes and planning. Like, okay, I know what I'm gonna do, but I'm not there. Again, I don't know that I ever will get there, and or if I even want to. So we'll just have to see. But bear with me. I appreciate your support, your love, the comments, the likes, the subscriptions, the criticism, all the good stuff you guys bring to me. It is appreciated as always. And I be well out there. Be well, and take care of yourselves and each other. This is a crazy world and a crazy time right now we are all living in and experiencing it together. And we have to watch out for one another, because if we don't, no one else will. And I'm counting on you to do that, to do your part in that, as I'm going to do mine. And we will see you all tomorrow. Bye, guys.